after you have your plan, now you're thinking about what you're going to spend your money on, how you're going to spend your money, how much money you're going to spend. You need to have a plan for that. Hello everyone, what a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. We are going to go on to our next event planning basic. So I guess event planning 102. Yeah. The next one is going to be establishing a budget. So we talked about how important it is to have a plan. Now let's talk about your budget. Your budget, and I'm doing this in order, okay? Have a plan and then have a budget. Your budget is the second. I kind of feel like having a plan and the budget are just equally important, because after you have your plan, now you're thinking about what you're going to spend your money on, how you're going to spend your money, how much money you're going to spend. You need to have a plan for that as well. Okay, so before we get into that, I want you guys to like this video, to subscribe, follow all of our social media. They're all linked down below. Okay, and get in contact. All right, join our online family. I tell you guys this every time. I don't know why I have to keep saying it, you know? So just do it. So let's get into the video. So establishing a budget. It is so important to have a budget. You don't want to end up spending more than what you intended, and you don't want to place your money in things that aren't relevant to the event that you really want to have. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients come to me and they're like, I want this to be the greatest event in the world. And they're like, I want this, I want flowers, I want the trampolines, I'm kidding, no one has ever asked me for a trampoline. But they're asking for all these grandiose things. And then I'm like, okay, cool. What's your budget? And they're like, I don't know. Like, what? You have all of these things in mind and you don't know how much you want to spend? It's absolutely, like, it's a little ridiculous, guys. One thing I was thinking is, like, maybe it's like a lie. Like, people say, like, when someone asks, what's your budget? You don't say your budget because you want to see, like, how much they're going to charge and then, like, go elsewhere. I think that is so silly. If it works for your budget, whoever is going to try to work within your budget, or they're going to say this costs this much and you need to increase your budget to this much. I don't think that we should all think that every vendor is out here to try to scheme you out of your money. Okay, so anyways, that's my little rant. But let's go to step number one. Step number one is do your research. You have made a plan, you have your target, you have what's important to you. I'm gonna link that video here or here. You guys can go check that out. But you have your plan, right? So you have your target, you have what's important to you, you have what you want your guests to leave with. Now, do your research. That's number one. Do your research on what you want to add into your event. So I'm sure you probably already have some decor things in mind. You have like a venue in mind. You have all these things in mind. So do your research on how much these things generally cost, okay? Don't just come up with a number in the air based off of what you feel like something costs. There's already preset numbers for things. Do your research and figure out what those things are. Number two is going to be realistic about your budget. Be realistic about how much you can spend on this event. If you can only spend $100, be realistic that is what you can spend. So think about what after you've made your plan, think about what you would like generally to spend. See how much you can go up, see how much you would like to go down from that budget, but see generally, realistically, based on your budget, what you can spend, okay? So don't just come up with numbers in the air. You're gonna be very disappointed because you're not gonna find people who are going to be able to work with your budget if it is unrealistic. So you've done your research, you know what's realistic for you. Now, number three, I would say, is going back to what's important to you. I think that is going to be something that we always go back to when it comes to events, is what is important to you. So what is important to you in regards to this event experience? Is music the most important? Is food most important? Is the venue most important? Is the decor most important? And I want you to allocate your budget towards those things. All those other things that aren't as important, you can figure out DIY ways to do it. And you can just figure out different ways, more budget ways to do it. But things that are important, like if photography is important, you want to have a good photographer, then put your budget more towards there. So I'm gonna break this down into an example. I am planning a birthday party, right? I've made my plan based off of the event planning basics 101. I've made my plan. So now I'm thinking about my budget. One, I've done my research. So I'm doing my research on how much a venue costs. I've done my research and I've seen that venues cost around $3,000 for a full day. I'm just throwing numbers in the air. I've done my research and I see that the type of decor that I'm interested in costs about $1,000. I've done my research and I've seen that the type of catering I like costs $2,000. Okay, boom, I've done all of that research. But going on to number two, realistically, I would like to spend $3,000. Okay, so I would like to spend $3,000. So now I've seen that a venue costs about $3,000. So I'm going to have to find a very budget venue. Maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my event outside. I'm just gonna get a park permit, which is about like, I think in New York, it's like $25. So I'm gonna get a park permit so that I can knock that cost off. What's going to number three, what's most important to me is the catering. So really good catering, like I said, cost about $2,000 in this example. So I'm gonna put of my $3,000, how much I would like to spend. I'm going to put $2,000 over there into catering. Second thing that's most important to me is decor, and that's about $1,000. So I'm going to put my other $1,000 into decor, and those are the two most important things to me. Those are where I'm going to allocate most of my budget. Everything else, I'm going to find I'm going to find a budget photographer. I'm going to find budget music or DIY music. I'm going to figure other things out because I've put most of my budget over here. And though I've said I would like to spend $3,000, what I can realistically spend is, let's say I can spend $3,500. So I can spend $500 over that, but I wouldn't like to go over that. So do you see how kind of that works? I have a plan for my budget, just like I have a plan for my event, as in the target. So stay within your plan. Don't go over your budget if that is your budget. If you can, if someone is giving you extra money and things like that, but don't force yourself out of your budget if you've already set a budget for yourself, okay? So that is event planning basics number 2. We're gonna get into a bit of more specific things. We're still gonna do the basics, but those I feel are the two most important that you need to kind of go into any other segment, if that makes sense, which I hope it does. So thanks for tuning in. Again, make sure that you like, you comment, you subscribe. Let me know how this works for you. If the budgeting structure works well for you, or if it makes sense to you. If you have any questions also, or anything to add on too, definitely comment, message me. Again, you guys know I love sharing tips. Make sure that you like, you comment, you subscribe, you follow all of our channels. Make sure you subscribe to our email list as well, which you can find on our website, which is also linked down below, so you can stay up to date on any of our offers. And again, like I said, Wonder Events is taking clients. We would love to bring some wonder to your event, okay? So I think that's about it, right? So I'll see you guys in the next video.